All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makak Dash. I want to say double honor to the apostles and the bishop elders at Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe who are preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, this is the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii coming to you with another lesson. And this lesson is on this video that you see in front of you. And I was sitting here scrolling through TikTok, and I was looking at it, and it inspired me to do this video. It's a number of things that this video made me think about, but one of those things was the fact that these heathen are flowing in wealth without any regard to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and we as the Lord's people, we're going through it, we're suffering. We have what we need, the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, but this world wasn't made for the heathens to enjoy. The earth wasn't made for the heathen to create a corrupt world where they could live perpetually. It wasn't. The earth was created, according to the scriptures, for us, the Israelites. And we are a righteous people by nature, by creation, by the will and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We were created to be that. But us dealing with these heathens, it corrupted us in ways that we're still feeling the ramifications to this day. One being idolatry to their diet. And that's what, when you watch this video, you're going to see. And this is why the Lord told us not to learn the way of the heathen. But before I get that, let me get this. This is, Isaiah 47:6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke, because the Lord was angry with us. This is the reason why we went into captivity, slavery. This is the reason why we went to captivity under all these nations that are on the planet Earth. All right? It's including these Moabites, man. See, when the kingdom of heaven is established, it's not only the so-called white man that's going to get put into captivity, hardcore slavery, and be driven into servitude. Nah, all you nations are going to go through it. And you can read about that, what is in Jeremiah 30:16. All right? Matter of fact, I'll read about it real quick. Then I'll go back to this. Jeremiah 30:16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And in the NLT it says, but all who devour you will be devoured, which all these nations have done it. And all your enemies, and who's our enemies? All of these nations, including Moab, especially Edom. And all your enemies will be sent into exile, right? They're going to be exiled from the places they at today and thrown into captivity, all right? And they're going to be serving us wherever we at. And all who plunder you will be plundered, and all who attack you will be attacked. And all these nations have attacked us. Let me go back to where I was in the history of Isaiah 47. Again, Isaiah 47:6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Verse 6 in the NLT. For I was angry with my chosen people and punished them by letting them fall into your hands. So when our people look at what has happened to us over time and dispensation, especially when we're dealing and interacting with these other nations, and we find ourselves on the bottom and overcome, that's because the Lord was angry with us. Why? Because of our idolatry. We broke his laws, such as commandments. Idolatry being the top one, having another God over him, right? And then doing the things that bequeath, or doing those things that becometh a heathen. All in lying, murdering, killing, stealing, eating abominations, which we're going to focus on in this video, committing abominable acts one towards another, on each other. That's some heathen shit, man. And the Lord said we are his chosen people. And it says, for I was angry with my chosen people and punished them by letting them fall into your hands. But you, Babylon, showed them no mercy. You oppress even the elderly. And that's going from ancient Babylon, but mainly the daughter of Babylon. This devil didn't show us any mercy. And these nations, they're going to pay. You know, there's a long list. Like, these nations not just going into captivity for what they did us. These nations not going into captivity for what they did to us this go around. No. It's from the beginning of time. From the first interaction we had with these heathens to the very last. They're going to pay for that. Okay? But I wanted to focus on these customs because, like, as I said, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this video and I saw the customs of these heathen. I was like, what the hell? And I'm looking at how it affects them versus how it affects us. Because our people, they love to eat abominable foods and go to these abominable locations. In their mind, they believe, oh, I'm being cultured. Oh, I'm opening up to a culture. But these heathens, they don't do that to you. And the culture that you do have, it came out of oppression and captivity. Soul food. And even when you look at soul food, there's a lot of abominations within that. Catfish, pork, crab, what you're going to focus on in this video. You know? But like I was saying earlier, through the Spirit, this world wasn't created to be a world for the heathen. Yeah, they're supposed to live on it and be able to dwell on it, but they got to do it under righteousness, under oppressive regime of righteousness, man. See, our righteousness is oppressive to the heathen, man. And they don't want that. You know, that's why it said in Psalms chapter 2, it says, verse 1, it says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? And let me skip down. It says, verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, right? These nations, they have taken counsel against the Heavenly Father and us, his anointed people, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. And when you look at that in the NLT, it says, let us break their chains. They cry, free ourselves from slavery of God. And that's what happened when these nations, when King David, King Solomon was in power, preeminence, these nations were in slavery under us, in captivity. And they had to follow our ways. When you read about what kings like King David, I think it was another king too. Well, John Hyrcanus, the first, when he was ruling over them Edomites, he forced them Edomites to follow our customs, our ways, you know? And they wanted to free themselves from that. But that's a vain thing. And what are those chains? That they had to follow our customs. They had to follow our customs and commandments, man. You know? You don't get in our kingdom, you're not just gonna be able to live in a pocket of the earth somewhere doing what the F you want to do. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna be extremely governed by the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're not going to be able to thrive. You're not going to be able to eat what you want to eat, do what you want to do, as you can do now. So again, this earth wasn't created to be a place for that. It was created to be a sanctuary and a place where the sons of power, the sons of God, Yahshua Allah, can dwell and levy out judgment and be in peace and be a paradise. But this is what we have.
Our super fucking rich. Watch us eat our super fucking rich dinner for Lunar New Year. First, we got the king crab. Watch out, this girl Ying will eat everything in sight. The wontons were super plump and flowy tonight. The Peking duck was glistening, so was the walnut fried shrimp. Fried tofu with shrimp and conch. You can get the king crab steamed or fried. This time we got them both fried. Apparently you're supposed to have fish on this momentous occasion. The crab fried rice, 2 ginormous bowl of noodles, 1 had beef in it. The mango dessert was free because it was extra jiggly. The bill was $1,200. Watch us eat our super fun.
Yeah, you see? And they did that shit with ease, man. They ain't, not one person went into their pocket or look at their phone and said, I don't know if I got enough money to afford this. That's what happened with Jake. If too many Negroes Latinos and Native Americans walk up into a goop establishment like this, they're going to be looking at you with the side eye. And you already know what they're going up in there for. They're going up in there for the crabs. Look, it says right here, crab, FY for you page, crab. I don't even eat this shit. Chinese food, I don't even eat that shit. Lunar New Year, you know? A tradition unlike any other. So eating these foods and learning these ways are traditions of the heathen. And this is what the Lord said about that. This is Jeremiah 10 and 1. Jeremiah 10 and 1. Right? Jeremiah 10 and 1. It says, hear ye the word. Well, I'm going to read the title. It says, a satire on idolatry. And it says, idolatry brings destruction. Exactly. It says, hear ye the word which the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. In the NLT it says, this is what the Lord says, do not act like the other nations who try to read their futures in the stars. Do not be afraid of their predictions, even though other nations be terrified by them, right? Because witchcraft and wizardry, that shit came from witchcraft and wizardry. That shit came from these heathens. You know, they'll get you watch these movies, and there'll be some dark, demonic ass witch or warlock sitting on the top of a mountain talking about some evil that's going to happen. And they'll try to get you afraid of that shit. Like, nah, we supposed to look down on that kind of activity and not even think about that shit, because we know that our steps are set by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I think it's Proverbs 20:24 or 24:20, roughly paraphrasing. It says, a man's going is of the Lord. How therefore can a man know his own way? So the Lord decides our steps. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai dictates our steps, not no damn shooting star or a comet, or what they think is a comet, or a blood moon or a blue moon. No, none of that. None of that. They don't dictate nothing that happened with an Israelite. Our way and our path is set forth by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But the Lord told us not to learn none of these ways, the customs of the people, because the customs of the people are vain. And look at this. This is their custom. What is it? Lunar year, right? I wanted to look that up. Yeah, this is Chinese Lunar New Year. Now, we, the people of the East, we have a Lunar New Year, but it's not a day of fireworks and jubilation. You know, us, the Israelites, when we think about our lunar, when we celebrate the Passover, that's the beginning of our Lunar New Year. But it ain't, we're not, it's a solemn assembly. It ain't a day of, even though we got free that day and the Lord took us out of Egypt by the head, it ain't a day of fireworks and shit like that. But this is what the Chinese people do. It says Chinese New Year is a festival that celebrates the beginning of a new year in traditional lunar solar Chinese calendar. In Chinese, the festival commonly referred to as the Spring Festival, which all these nations celebrate. What is it? The renewance of stuff, you know, the land and stuff like that during the spring era or the spring season. And it says, as the spring season in lunar solar calendar traditionally starts with Li Chang, the first of the 24 solar terms, which the festival celebrates around the time of the Chinese New Year, making the end of winter. So they spell it the spring equinox and the summer solstice and shit like that. That's wicked. And it says, marking the end of winter and beginning of spring. And so this is what they do. This is what they do. This is the idolatrous, wicked, pagan holiday celebrated by heathens. And then our people learned these customs. A lantern festival concludes celebration of the Chinese New Year, Mongolian New Year, blah, 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 blah. You know? And it goes into mythology. It says, according to the legend, Chinese New Year started with a mythical beast called a Nian, a beast that lives under the sea or in the mountains. Now remember, the customs of the people are vain. Nian would eat villagers, especially children. You see, going back to child sacrifice in the middle of the night. One year, all the villagers decided to hide from the beast. An older man appeared before the villagers, went into hiding, and said that he would stay the night and would get revenge on Nian. The old man put red papers up and set off firecrackers. The day after, the villagers came back in their town and saw nothing had been destroyed because nothing happened. So they put them red things up and they popped firecrackers like it was scaring, all that to scare off a beast that eats children. It says the villagers then understood that. Let me read that again. The old man put up red papers and set off firecrackers. The day after, the villagers came back to their town and saw that nothing had been destroyed. They assumed that the old man was a deity. So you see how simple-minded these heathen are, who came to save them. The villagers then understood that Yang Hang had discovered that the Nian was afraid of the color red and loud noises. What kind of shit is this? Then the traditions grew when New Year's was approaching, and each villager would wear red clothes, hang red lanterns and red spring scrolls on windows and doors, and use firecrackers and drums to frighten away the Nian. From then on, Nian never came to the village again. Nian was eventually captured by Hong Jun, an ancient Taoist monk. You see how dumb this shit is, man? You see how stupid this shit is, man? Traditional food. A reunion dinner is held on New Year's Eve, during which family members gather for celebrations. The venue will usually be in or near the home of most of the senior members of the family. You see? They eat a hot pot, Chinese sausage. Look, wax cured meat like duck and Chinese sausage. Wickedness. And seafood, crab, lobster, and abalone. You see? These are the vain customs of the heathen. These are the vain customs of the heathen, man. And this is what the Lord told us not to follow. But our people love this shit. You know, they got all you can eat crab festivals and Jacobs. Chop that shit up. But it don't destroy these gooks' bodies the way it destroy our bodies. Again, this is the reason why the Lord told us not to learn the customs of the people. They're vain. It says, let me read this real quick in Ezekiel. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, verse 13. Ezekiel 4, verse 13, right? It says, and the Lord, I'm going to start at, I don't want to hold this up. So this is Ezekiel 4 and 12. And thou shalt eat it as barley. I'll read 13. And the Lord said, Yahweh Shai said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. Right? And in the NLT it says, then the Lord said, this is how Israel will eat defiled bread in the Gentiles' land, to which I will banish them. And we were scattered amongst all these nations and all these lands, even America, because this is the land of the Gentiles now. Right? And we eat our food defiled amongst them. One, we living in amongst them, being oppressed by them. Even a lot of Jake don't understand. Even these heathens' mere presence is oppressive to us, man. They feel the same way. They get frustrated and angry when they see us. But we got to eat our food defiled amongst these heathen. When you go to any ghetto USA, who's in there selling you food? You got Elam, the so-called East Indian. You got Ishmael, the so-called Arabs. You got Moab, the so-called Chinese. You got Ammon, the so-called Japanese. They the ones that really give us, basically sell our people food. And it's all defiled. It's all defiled. From the way they handle the food to the way they cut and cure and kill the food and sell it. All that shit is wicked, man. And I want to show this table again because look at this shit that these people are eating. And you know, if you had a 2/3 Jake that saw this, let's just say you replaced all these gook with Jakes, man, this place would be empty, man. But they learn this shit and these customs from them.
Eat our super fucking rich dinner for Lunar New Year. First, we got the king crab. Watch out.
Shit. These people, the ways of the people, why this shit is disgusting. This is defiled. This whole table is defiled, man.
This girl Ying will eat everything in sight.
And you notice,
Watch us eat our super fucking rich dinner for Lunar New Year.
you notice this Moabite, she's skinny as a toothpick, man. And she eat nothing but abominations, man. But if that was Jake, you be bloated up, swollen up from the core all the way to the neck, man. To your ankles, man. Eating this filth, man.
First, we got the king crab. Watch out, this girl Ying will eat everything in sight. The wontons were super plump and flowy tonight. The Peking duck was glistening.
You're not supposed to eat duck. You're not supposed to eat crab.
So was the walnut fried shrimp.
You damn sure ain't supposed to eat no shrimp.
Food with shrimp and conch. You can get.
Yeah, they're eating shrimp and conch, man. And look at these people, man. They're taking pictures. They're all excited and shit. Like this day of world, man. Well, right now it is. But it's going to soon be taken away. Because the Lord don't deal with these other nations. He don't even rate these nations. These nations ain't rated in the eyes of the Lord. This is Isaiah 45 and 17. It's like Isaiah 40 and 17. Isaiah 40 and 17. All nations before him are as nothing, and are accounted to him less than nothing in vanity. In the NLT it says the nations of the world are worth nothing to him. So the nations of the world are not worth anything to the Heavenly Father. This is why he let them do what they do, eat what they eat. He don't care about them. But when it comes to us, it's a different story. We can't eat what we eat. We can't worship what we want to worship. We can't do that. The nations of the world are wroth. I'm sorry, let me read that again. The nations of the world are worth nothing to him. In his eyes, they count for less than nothing, mere emptiness and froth. You see? So that's the reason why these nations do
Crab steam or fried.
These nations ain't.
This time we got them both fried. Apparently,
you know they're not sitting there over this abominable food and thinking about Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Hell no. Hell no. Right? Why? Because the Lord didn't give them his laws, statutes, and commandments. This is Psalms 147 and 19. Psalms 147 and 19. Right? It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. In the NLT it says, he have not done this for any other nation. They do not know his regulations. Praise ye the Lord. Right, because everything that we do on this earth is regulated by Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and is illustrated and given to us. Those regulations are illustrated and given unto us through the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So even our diet is regulated down here on this earth. All right. This is Leviticus 11. Leviticus chapter 11. Right. Verse 12. Salak, I don't know what just happened. What just happened? Let me do that back. Salak. Leviticus 11. Leviticus 11 and 12. Avoid the unclean. It says, whatsoever have fins, whatsoever have no fin, it says, whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. It says, verse 13, and these are, what did just happen? Salakia. Let me, on verse 10, Salakia. Verse 9. Leviticus 11 and 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. All right? Of all the marine animals, these are ones you may use for food. You may eat anything from the water if it has both fins and scales, whether taken from the salt water or the streams. Verse 10, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and in any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. In the NLT it says, but you must never eat animals from the sea or from the rivers that do not have both fins and scales. They are detestable to you. This applies both to the little creatures that live in the shallow waters and to all creatures that live in the deep waters. And that's right. And you see what these Moabites, these demons are eating. You know, they dress it up and they make it look good, but in reality, this shit is an abomination in the sight of the Lord, man. This whole table.
Occasion. The crab fried rice, 2 ginormous
crab fried rice. You know, Jake would lose their mind and eat that shit.
Bowl of noodles, 1 had beef in it. The mango dessert was free because it was extra jiggly.
Yeah,
the bill.
The only thing that might be, I wouldn't even eat the mango. You know, that might be useful to eat the wine and the mango, but I wouldn't eat none of that shit. And you notice they give out the mango free. You know, of all the things you can give out free on the table, they give the mango free, man.
It's $1,200. Watch us eat our super fucking rich dinner for
Lunar. And she's being sarcastic, but this is what they do, man. Let me see what the comments say. 1,200 for 10 to 12 is not bad for king crab and all that food. You see? You see, for people thinking you can just go in and order, you should call at least 2 weeks in advance if you want king crab. And Jake's love crabs, man. The king crab, OFMG. You see, they're losing their mind for some fucking crab. And this shit is an abomination in the sight of the Lord. You're not supposed to eat that. This thing scrapes the bottom of the barrel of the ocean or of the rivers. You got crabs in rivers too, right? They clean the refuge and eat the dead. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to eat no shit like that. But our people will see something like this and they will just go crazy. Oh shit, yeah, we going up in there, girl, and we paying $1,200 for this big king crab, and they will devour this thing, man. It's fucked up, man. But they learned this from the heathens. All this is from the heathen, and that's why in the kingdom of heaven, you heathens are going to be beat in the shape, man. You're not going to be eating none of this in the kingdom of heaven at all. Nobody's going to be eating none of this, man. Crab, conch, all of that stuff going to be flourishing in the ocean, man. And that's why our ocean is going to be pristine, man. Because you're not going to be taking this aquatic life out of the marine life, out of the oceans, and slinging it on the market, man. That's not going to happen. But it happens now because the heathens are ruling, especially the Edomites, man. Right? Especially the Edomites. This is, yeah, I didn't want to make this too long. I know it's like,
got the king crab.
I did this lesson right before and I got interrupted. But I really hope that this was edifying, man, because when you see these heathens balling with no problem, eating and living with no problem, don't envy this shit because they're going to be taken out of power, man. They're going to be destroyed, man. You know? They're going to be destroyed. They spend money like it's nothing. They got money. They got access to resources that we never have on this side, man. But that's okay because this is their world. They sharing it with Esau. In our kingdom, we ain't sharing it with nobody but each other. And it starts first with Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's theirs. And by default, as Israelites, we're able to benefit from that. But these heathens, they'll benefit, but they're going to have to benefit from righteousness and not wickedness, man. Okay, so with that, I want to say shalom and on to the next.